And we are live. Over to you, Mr. Jones.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is BWTM Sports. I'm sure I messed up again, but you know.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to BWTM Sports. I'm joined by Mr. Wonderful himself. You hear me? Mr. Carson Jones. So, Mr. Wonderful,
You hear me?
How you doing, Mr. Wonderful?
I didn't know that was my name. I thought it was just Mr. Carson Jones, a.k.a. El Peligroso.
Okay. A.k.a. Mr. Year. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're here.
What's going on, man? How's it going?
All good. How you been, champ?
Great.
Let's talk about, see, the last time we saw you in the UK was the Ted Cheeseman fight. People want to hear your side of the story, how things have been going. Talk to us about the Ted Cheeseman fight. How good is Ted Cheeseman?
I can't take anything away from him because, you know, obviously he beat me. But I wasn't 100% that day. In all reality, I didn't have much training time. But it was just like everything that could go wrong went wrong in the whole training camp. I had a shoulder issue. You know, there was a little bit of sickness the week of the fight. You know, so, but you know, not taking anything away from him. He's a good fighter, and he beat me fair and square. And he had a job to do, and he did his job. So, I just hope that he's successful in the future, and you know, maybe it makes me looks better. So.
Is that a fight you would potentially look at a rematch, or is that just done and dusted?
I don't know. I don't think anybody really is interested in it. He beat me kind of by a wide margin, so I don't think there will be any reason for him to give me a rematch unless I went on to do something else in the sport. You know, beat somebody else, and even then I wouldn't even be interested in a rematch because there's always bigger and better things out there. So absolutely. I just think that fight's probably over and done with. He won, and congrats to him.
Let's talk a little bit about your fight. After your fight, how do you compare Kell Brook, Ted Cheeseman, Ben Hall, like in terms of styles? Kell Brook and Ted Cheeseman, two guys that have beaten you. How do you compare the styles and physical strength and attributes?
Ted Cheeseman really is not that powerful. He's a good boxer. He's just in shape. But once again, it's hard to compare because I was in tip-top shape for Kell Brook, and I was actually, you know, I wasn't in. You can see my body, and not to mention, I mean, I'm a lot older. I'm not gonna say old, because I felt like I still had some in the tank. But I'm a different fighter from when I fought Kell Brook to when I fought Ted Cheeseman. He got the older, more out of shape version of Carson Jones. Kell Brook got the beast. So I'm gonna say Kell Brook is a lot better, and Kell Brook would beat Ted Cheeseman, obviously, even at this stage in his career.
One fight I'd love to see you in is against Amir Khan. When you were with me, we spoke about the LaGreco fight because it was announced the same day that I came and met you at the airport. LaGreco Khan. What did you think of the Phil LaGreco fight in the end? It lasted 40 seconds.
I mean, even though me and Phil are cool. Like, we're cool. Me and Phil LaGreco, we're cool. We have no issues. He's not on Amir Khan's level. He got a pay. I don't know what he got paid, but he got a paycheck, I'm sure. And Amir Khan did what he was supposed to do. 40 seconds, I wouldn't have thought it would lasted, but you know, he did exactly what he was supposed to. So there's no surprise there. He was supposed to come in there and beat Phil LaGreco with ease. Like I said, 40 seconds, maybe I wouldn't suspect it. Maybe the first round I wouldn't have suspected. But you know, I guess congrats to him. He beat his guy, and now he's on to the next fight.
Okay. He got knocked out in the first round Spence went many rounds with Greco. I think 6 rounds he went. John Portal fought him as well. How impressive is that fight by Amir Khan?
I'm not. I mean, I can't say I'm impressed because he had a younger Errol Spence, obviously, and Phil's a little bit older now, and we don't know what Phil's been doing. I mean, granted, he lives a pretty clean life, but I just think that there's 2 different points in time where you can make the same argument for me and Brook, and then me and Ted Cheeseman. You can make the exact same argument. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, fair enough. I can understand that. Yourself and Amir Khan, you fought Kell Brook. How do you think a fight between yourself and Amir Khan would go? And do you think Khan would be interested in the fight with someone like yourself?
At this point, no. If I went on to go do something, beat somebody else, and it was more lucrative, maybe so. Especially in England. But I think Amir Khan is more so looking to make a big payday against, maybe Broner or one of these other welterweights. I think he's looking to make a big paycheck. Because let's be honest, we're in this business to make money. A fight with me wouldn't pay as much, especially considering my last performance. Now, like I said, if I went on to go beat somebody else and they can sell it, then yeah, I'd be all for it. Of course, I'm all for it right now. But he would be more, apt to doing the fight.
Okay. Eddie Hearn, out of his own mouth, said Phil LaGreca was a world-class fighter. Your thoughts?
No. I mean, let's be real. No. Simple as that.
Let's move on. Okay, so I've been reading stuff about you. Now you're going to be fighting at middleweight. Your opponent?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I'm fighting on June 23rd in Montreal against a guy named Stephen Butler. He actually usually fights at 154, I think. So technically me and him are both moving up to 160.
Right.
I've sparred him before. Only thing that only thing that he has is he has some decent power. But I think I should have no issue on it, to be quite honest, with this guy, and he's a good kid. But I have a lot more time to train, and I'm fairly close to the weight, to be honest. So I don't think I'll have any issue in the weight department. I just gotta make sure I'm in tip-top shape and ready to go.
So the difference between fighting at, say, welterweight, now fighting a middleweight, what's the difference in terms of your body, and how close are you to that weight walk around? And is that a struggle for you to put on that weight?
It wasn't a struggle to put on at all. I was already up there, being that I fought February 2nd or whatever.
Yep.
So it wasn't an issue because I was already, eating my fatty meals and whatever else I needed, whatever else I wanted to eat. So I'm gonna have to lose just a little bit. I mean, I could honestly, if I had to make the weight next week, I can make the weight at 160. Because I had already been running before I even got offered this fight. Because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to fight again. So I wanted to start getting my weight down and start getting in shape, doing it the right way, like I used to do it.
Yep.
That way, if something came up on short notice, I'll be ready. I wouldn't have to be, out of shape and struggle to make the weight. So I was already headed down. So I'm already fairly close right now. I think the difference in training this time will be I'll be trying to maybe do a little bit more strength and conditioning, just to make sure that I'm ready for that step up in weight class.
Okay. What do you think the benefits will be for you? Obviously, not having to cut weight as much. What else would be the benefits of you moving to middleweight?
I won't have to cut it all, to be honest. But I just think that I'll be more. I have a little bit more energy. At this point at this stage of my career, I have a little bit more energy, and maybe a little bit more power. Who knows? It just depends on how my training camp goes. Which at this point, we're two months away. So we have plenty of time. There
Okay.
should be no excuses.
Do you want to hear your quick thoughts on Jermell Charlo's performance over the weekend at middleweight? Now going to be the #1 contender for your good friend in camp, GGG. What are your thoughts on a Charlo versus Golovkin fight?
Congrats to Charlo first of all, because I haven't even seen the fight. I need to actually check these fights out because I don't really watch boxing too much these days. I just listen, read online and stuff. But that's a fight. I'm pretty sure that'll be great for the fans. People want to see it, and that's what this game is about. Charlo's he's a great fighter, both Charlos. And I think that'll be a great fight for the fans to watch.
And your final thoughts on Canelo, or Canelo, or Alvaro?
I hear you.
You hear me?
I hear you. As far as the clenbuterol incident,
yes.
I don't know, man. I think that's a black eye for the sport. He was carrying. He that was the name. Him and Gennady. He was the man, and he tarnished his whole legacy by getting caught doing it. I mean, regardless of whether he claims it's the meat or whatever the issue may be, as far as being over there in Mexico, I think he just let a lot of the fans down, and he just tarnished a lot of his career is questionable now. And it kind of makes sense because the dude did come from being a scrawny little kid to out of nowhere just blowing up out of nowhere with all his muscle and whatnot, like a monster. So, cheating is frowned upon, by everyone, and I think it's a black eye for the sport too.
If you had been one of those opponents that had been beaten by Canelo, and you had a suspicion that maybe you fought a guy, or even if you fought a guy in your career and it was discovered that he had done PEDs, would you be going back to the commission and asking for compensation or not?
Probably not. I mean,
it is what it is.
No, because there's no way to prove that he was on it. I mean, at the beginning when he was fighting those other opponents, there's no way to prove that. And honestly, he didn't look like he was on anything. But then all of a sudden he was this monster. So I mean, he actually looked like he could have possibly. His bulk was such a big jump that it actually looked like he could have been on something. So I mean, and plus the commission is not gonna. I mean, that's not gonna work anymore. You gotta have a lot of money for that, and even then, you still might not win. You're still probably most likely not gonna win. So it'll be a waste of time.
Final question. I'll go back to the Cheeseman fight. For you, I know we talked, and you talked to us about the documentary and what it was like having me shoving the camera up in your face all the time when you were walking around doing what you were doing as a fighter. And how important do you think that is for a fighter?
It was real cool. From the airport to we didn't even get to meet up afterwards because I'm not even sure what started happening. I think we started partying immediately afterwards, but so it's probably a good thing you didn't. But yeah, it was a good experience. And the documentary got to show kind of like behind the scenes of what we're actually doing and what actually goes on, in the lead up and in the fighter's life, in the lead up and the build up into the fight. So I think that's very important because people don't really understand what we go through and kind of our lives, how fun or how boring they might be. So I think it was a good idea, and I hope to see more of it.
Carson Jones, have you got any message to your fans or to followers or supporters?
Just be looking out for me on June 23rd. I'll be posting a link where you can watch it on. I believe it's on a pay-per-view channel or something like that. Coming from Montreal on June 23rd, and everybody will be able to watch and tune in to see my middleweight debut, and I'm pretty sure I'll come out victorious.
Carson Jones, as always, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, champ. I hear you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
You hear me?
I hear you. Take care.
Later.